How does a squirrel cross the road? Or even better, a highway? Come and find out. There are objects in the Dutch public space you've never ever noticed or just took for granted. Today we're looking at 4 random examples. Oh, for the people that liked the last folklore video, you might want to skip to the last chapter of this one. Welcome. Today we start on the Dutch highways. You might have noticed the big animal crossings over our highways or even smaller roads. They're there to reconnect the nature areas, which are divided by these roads. It's called mitigation. The Dutch tried to limit the impact that these roads have on the living space of the animals. These big ones serve deer and other bigger game like foxes or wild boar. Or yeah, even the wolves. But what if the population is just a bunch of squirrels? Well, even these can be catered to. On small roads, it can be as simple as a rope in the trees. But what about bigger highways? Well, in some cases, existing road infrastructure is improved by some extra ropes and an internal gutter where the creatures can travel. I love the way this is used in the existing structures in a new way. But there are some special cases, like here in the city of The Hague. Squirrels here get their own purpose-built cast iron one-of-a-kind overpass. Sadly, the squirrels couldn't find it in the first couple of years. So, when they finally did, it made the headlines in the news. Dutch like to complain, but, they forget that some squirrels are more equal than others. Because this can be considered royalty. The squirrels here don't travel to just any forest. No, this is the royal forest, because here the king lives. So, what do you think about that? A royal squirrel bridge. Since we're on the highway anyway, I want to show you something you probably would have missed. Wait for it. Here, do you see it? It's a wire spanning over the bridge, just a wire on some poles. Not connected to anything, so why is it here? Well, it's a border. It's called an eruv, and it's a Jewish thing. Normally, on the Shabbat, the religious Jews can't wear anything than the clothes on their back. But within the sanctified area of the eruv, the religious Jews can do the normal things, like wearing a wallet or pushing a baby stroller. But why is it here? It's far from Amsterdam. Well, in the old times, cities were closed off by city walls and city gates. So the borders were easily defined. But not in modern times. So this is why the Dutch Jews actively maintain the eruv on many locations around Amsterdam. Mainly on bridges, so the water can form the rest of the barrier. All boundaries checked weekly and has in many forms worked from the 1860s onwards. Unless the rivers freeze over, of course. Then the eruv is out of service. The Dutch Jewish community still exists today, but was once deeply threatened. The trauma of the Second World War remains deeply embedded in the Dutch society. The Jews of Amsterdam suffered greatly in the Second World War. The most famous case is the one of Anne Frank, of course. But there are many, many victims. And there are many memorials in Holland for the victims of this war. Not only Jews, but also Roma, Sinti, gays and others, like resistance fighters or political opponents, were arrested and deported from their homes. In our street, you find many bigger and smaller memorials. But there are some very small and very personal ones. Here in Haarlem there are these. They are called tripping stones. You don't stumble over them, but it does give you something to think about. Small gold-colored memorials. They're placed at the houses these people used to live. One for each person arrested and deported. They make the human costs of the persecution more tangible than the bigger monuments. When you spot one, take a moment to ponder the life it represents. Well, for our last subject today, I will show you something different, something that is hidden. Throughout parks across the Netherlands, you might come across small, charming surprises. Tiny doors affixed to the trees. These little creations seem to belong in a fairy tale. They are known as gnome doors. They add a touch of magic to public spaces. Often made by local artists or enthusiasts, the doors feature intricate designs, complete with tiny knobs, windows, carvings, you name it. They create the illusion that the whole world of gnomes or forest creatures might exist somewhere just out of sight. Why are they here? Well, simply to delight and to keep your little 4-year-old busy. They serve no practical purpose, but remind us that not everything in the public space needs to be functional. Some things are here just to evoke wonder. Children love to hunt for these doors. So, next time you're out in nature, take a closer look at the trees around you. You might just find yourself face to face with a tiny door that hints at a hidden world, quietly waiting to be discovered. Well, that's it for this one. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions. And I'll see you at the next one.